This episode was explosive beyond a reasonable doubt. Let's talk about Star, y'all. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to KRS TV. This is your boy Kenny, and this is Star Season 3, Episode 16, and the name of this episode is Square One. This was a really good episode, and let me begin. We see that Carlotta is holding a meeting about the ASA Easter brunch, and Take 3 is nominated, but so is Alex. She's also nominated with Noah, and pretty much they're going over the narrative. You know, Take 3 has this nomination, so we really need to go big for this Easter brunch, you know. And of course they're like, we've been doing nothing but doing events for the ASAs, like, don't you think we've done enough? And he was, and like Carlotta was like, well, us doing this, it actually helps us to, you know, build stronger relationships, and also it's a way for us to continue to build our brand. So we definitely need to do these things, you know, to assure ourselves that we're definitely a shoo-in for the award. So they start discussing, you know, all of, you know, pretty much discussing Take 3. They talk about Alex. She's now become a household name. She's this big star. They want to, you know, work with that. And then Simone, you know, standing up, you know, to actually have Atlanta as a safe city for immigrants. You know, she's become like a political figure. And then when it came to Star, she was like, well, Star, we need to get you back in the studio to work on your solo album and then possibly a tour down the line. And Star is just feeling some kind of way because Star ain't the #1 chick anymore. And right now her voice is still shot. You know, she's been taking vocal therapy, but she's still having trouble singing. So pretty much all of this came out, you know, in this meeting or whatever. And then like Miss Bruce even made the joke to her like, well, girl, she's like, girl, please, the reason why your voice shot is you keep drinking all that water. You need to put some baby batter in that. Maybe that'll help you a little bit. You know, just kind of letting Star know, like, look, you need to begin to work on yourself so you can get back out there. But Star feels some kind of way because Alice and Simone are getting shine, but Star is no longer a narrative anymore. You know, due to her being arrested and all, and due to the fact that she lost her voice, she's kind of, you know, fallen off a little bit. And definitely that's a concern. And I think it was Miss Bruce who brought up Noah, you know, saying that, look, you got to really rebuild yourself just like Noah's doing, because Noah's in the sober house. And she was like, well, how come nobody told me that? And she said, because we don't want you to focus on nothing but yourself. So then we get a scene where Noah is coming out of the sober house. He gets in the car with his father, and he pretty much asks his father to take him to Star's house. And Bobby's like, no. You know, he's like, I'm not going through this. Like, first of all, you know, it's good that you're beginning to get yourself sober, but you going over to Star's house is not going to do nothing but cause more issues right now. But he's pretty much saying that, you know, I'm learning. I want to make this right, you know. And Bobby's like, I understand that, but you need to take this one step at a time. Going over Star's house right now is not a good idea. And he's like, look, I just want to see my son. But then he had to remind him, you almost killed your son. And Noah had to sit in that. Like, yes, you have to sit in it. Right now, you're not Star's favorite person right now due to the fact that happened. And she doesn't trust the baby being around you because that is a representation of somebody who's not fit to be a parent. So Noah had to sit in that shit. So then we see Simone and Angel, you know, they're, you know, due to her political work, we're seeing there's like this big event, you know, where all of these immigrants are there. And you know, and Angel is telling Simone how proud he is of her. You know, you really trying to take this to the next level. You're like another Angela Davis. And then the next thing you know, you got this racist pig who sits in there and starts confronting her, calling her a mutt bitch and all of this shit. Talking about it's rotten bitches like you that are ruining this country and all this shit. Make America great again type shit. So immediately, Angel charges at the dude like, you're not gonna talk to my wife like that. What the hell is your problem? So he starts rubbing up. He's like, and he's streaming live while he's doing this, and then kind of shows that he got a gun on his hip. So therefore, they're realizing that they're roughing some feathers that that totally believe that immigrants shouldn't be allowed in the United States and all of that, and they're being confronted with the opposition to what Simone is trying to do. So now Simone is really getting a feel of what it means to be a political activist, and now she's seeing blatant racism and disrespect right before our eyes. So then we get a scene. Cassie and Maurice are in the studio and they're working with Rashad. Now Rashad is there to do background vocals for Noah's next single or whatever. And all of a sudden, Carlotta comes in and she goes off when she sees Rashad. And she's even mad that Cassie's in the studio producing, and we come to find out because she's like, Rashad, why the hell are you still here? And Rashad's like, well, I wanted to take my chances and try to get a record deal. And she pretty much tells him, you need to go home. You have no idea what this industry is like. And and that you need the right people around you. Now, this one right here, she bad news. You need to stay away from her. And all of a sudden, Cassie was like, excuse me? Look, I know me and you on good terms right now, but that can change real fast, bitch. And she's saying that, look, I know you're still dealing with this off of the fact that Rashad is a part of our father's side of the family, but he's not daddy. And while I'm at it, let me give a shout out to Shauna Deward. She actually comments in some of my reviews. I appreciate your love and support, baby girl. But she was the one who called it last week on my last episode that Rashad is Carlotta's long lost son, and I had to really double play it and think about it because I was suspecting it could be Leon. But then I had to think about it, and I'm like, Rashad had a very close relationship with Calvin. Calvin put him through college and got him into church. And we're seeing that he has a very strong kinship with Cotton. And then last week when Carlotta started singing the song, Rashad immediately joined in with her and they were in sync. So I'm thinking that's her long lost son, but he's been raised as her cousin. Now that goes to show you that Calvin got his just desserts when Cassie took his ass out, because that dirty motherfucker deserved to die for that shit. You not only impregnated her and raped her at the age of 7 and got her pregnant when she was 15, and then you're gonna keep the kid and lie to her and tell her the baby was dead, but yet had the baby raised around her as her cousin? That's some sick shit. And whilst this is all going on, Carlotta gets a call. They told her that, her company card had been declined. So immediately, she goes to Mateo and like, what the hell is going on, Mateo? What is this shit? And pretty much Mateo said I had to file bankruptcy. And I need a buyer for the label, or everything we've done with Gravity Media and Gravity Records is going to go down in the toilet. So now the label, due to the fact that it's cash poor and there's no income coming in and he can't meet the expenses, he filed for bankruptcy, and they could lose everything just like that. So Carlotta tells the girls about it, and the next thing you know, there's a lot of bickering and fighting amongst the girls, because Star feels some kind of way because Alex and Simone are getting more notoriety and she's not there, and she's arguing that we need to focus more on Take 3 because that's what it is. And Alex wasn't here for it. Alex was calling it out like, sweetie, you're doing this because you don't have anything going right now and you don't even have a voice at this moment. So now you're trying to tell us that we need to sit down on what we're trying to build to bring this to bring the group together so you can have some relevancy. And it just gets all crazy. And Alex pretty much after this says that, you know what, I will do the brunch thing with Take 3, but after that, I'm done. I'm so done. So then we get a damn scene where Carlotta goes to see Cassie. Tell me why damn Maurice, with his old sexy ass, got his chest out and wearing like some, house shorts or whatever, and all of a sudden, Carlotta comes up and he's kind of telling Carlotta, my eyes are up here, and she's like, boy, please, I done seen everything you got, and trust me, if it was that great, you would still be at my house. I'm like, you better get his ass, because that damn Maurice moves like a snake. But that's why I said that why him and Cassie are probably more of a fit, because they both move in similar ways. They both do their own thing, and they kind of just maneuver their way into shit. And then all of a sudden, she goes to Cassie and asks Cassie, can she host the brunch at Karma? And immediately she says no. And she's like, well, come on, it'll be a good thing. She's like, well, what really is going on is that you lost your venue, and now I'm your last resort. And she finally, and of course, this alerts Maurice. He's like, what's going on, Carlotta? And she tells him that, like, look, Gravity Media is going bankrupt, and we got Giselle Sims from Empire. She's supposed to be coming through, and hopefully we can get her to be a buyer. And immediately this shakes them up too, because like they got business with Gravity Media, so everything that they have invested can be lost as well. But Cassie decides to let her use Karma, but only if Rashad gets to perform. Carlotta was like, oh hell no, absolutely not. Well, then she says, well, you can have the brunch at your damn salon. Like, that's right, Cassie. Like, you want something from me, we need to negotiate. So Cassie's showing that she's trying to be a serious businesswoman, and she's trying to make her own lane. So then we get a scene with Derek and Alex. The wedding is 2 weeks away, and they have a house full of gifts and stuff from Alex's parents. And then all of a sudden, when Alex opens one of the gifts, she notices something. She's like, these gifts are sponsored. All of these gifts came from my father's publishing company, and he's trying to make money off of our nuptials. And she says that here it is, my father always told me that I was not authentic and I was never going to make it, but now he wants to make money off of me. Like, I'm not having this shit. She's like, is Miss Ruby still doing work with the shelter? And he was like, yeah. And she was like, well, fine, take this stuff. And he's like, what do you want me to take to him? She said, take all of it. Let all of them have it. So I'm like, at least she used it to give to charity, because she's like, because her father's a trip. I mean, we met her father in season 1, and her father's played by Lenny Kravitz, for those who haven't seen the show. But yeah, her father's a straight up asshole, very narcissistic, and is all about himself and his career, and never really nurtured Alice's dreams and ambitions. And that's how she ended up linking up with Star and Simone. So then we see that So then we see that Star is having a meeting with Carlotta and Bruce. They're strategizing on how to get her back out there, and they said that, look, you can do this interview with Noah, with Tigger as well. Tigger being the interviewer. You guys can do an interview with Tigger, and you can do it with Noah. She's dead set against it, like, oh hell no, I ain't with this shit. And they's like, boo boo, this is something you need right now. You need to get people trending about you, and you need to get yourself back out there, so once your album drops, you already have a fan base ready to pick it up. So you need this. This is a win-win for you. And then also Noah has an album coming out too. So we see that Noah and Star in the interview, you can definitely see the tension. They going back and forth and everything, and she's saying that, look, I'm just making nice for this interview, but after that, I'm happy that you getting yourself together, but no, you can't see your son, and I'm not letting up on that shit. So then we see that once that interview starts, they put on their game faces and they are going back and forth as if like they really good friends, because after all, they do have a baby together. So now they're co-parents and they were on tour together because that's when the deed happened. So they start talking and it was like they were literally giving class. They were giving like straight acting chops because they were just, you know, keying back and forth like everything is good. You know, everybody's there. Bobby's there. Miss Bruce and Carlotta's there overseeing it. And then Noah's mother shows up. And I'm going to say right here, the way that she came up in there was not only out of order, but it was disgusting. I like, this bitch went havoc and lost her mind. While the interview's going on, she storms the interview and was like, oh yeah. And she's like, don't lie, baby. And then she gets in the camera, it's like, this bitch has been trifling since day one. I'm like, oh, this bitch is really doing the most. And then next thing you know, her and Star go back and forth. She's telling Star that she's trash and all of that, and saying that I hope that my grandson don't inherit all of your negative, all of that negative attitude that lands you in prison and all this shit. Next thing you know, her mommy and Noah's mom and Star start fighting like shit. They are going at it. Miss Bruce tries to break them up. Miss Bruce loses her wig in the process. And then you got damn Noah's like, Star, stop beating up my mama. Get off my mama. Get off my mama, Star. I'm like, because she was fucking her mother up. I'm like, boo-boo, this is the white girl that will fight you and won't bat an eye. Because she thought she was going to wreck some shit. Star let it be known, I ain't no punk bitch. Star was on top of his mother, rocking her world, literally beating her ass. And I'm like, it was well deserved because that bitch was wrong. So finally, the shit's still going on. You know, finally they kind of broke them up from fighting, but they still arguing back and forth. Carlotta was like, look, y'all shut the hell up and sit your asses down. You know. And it's plainly obvious that Noah's mother is still broken from the past, and she's still living off of the hurts from the past, because, you know, she starts going in on Bobby and talking her shit like, well, I understand why you're having such a hard time, son, because you never had a father around. You know, your father abandoned us and all this shit. And then, like, Bobby was like, well, you want to call you drinking and all of that was being a good parent? Like, you had some calls in this, too. And she's like, and then she's pretty much saying that, you know, well, all of this would not have happened if you wouldn't have did what you did with your gay ass. And what's this thing over here you with? And that damn Miss Bruce was like, I'm the lady of his life and you can't take it. I'm like, you better get her ass, Miss Bruce. Shut that ass down. Like, yeah, bitch, you're jealous because you ain't got nobody, and here it is, Bobby has moved on. But then again, Bobby still has a lot of anger and resentment towards her, because there were times where he tried to get back into Noah's life and she wouldn't allow Noah to have access to him. This is another thing that's causing some toxic masculinity, where some of these mothers are not letting their fathers be a part of their lives because they mad at the dad, so now they're going to turn the kid against the father. And we see this narrative play a lot within the black community. So it was cool that, you know, they showed this, because this is an example of what happens. It creates nothing but toxic relationships and dysfunction. And Noah's family is dysfunctional as all hell. So it seems to me that, you know, as much as Star thinks her shit is bad, Noah's shit is just as bad as hers. And here it is, Davis is literally being born into dysfunctionality on both sides of the spectrum. And they got to the point where Star couldn't take no more. She just gets to up and she walks the hell out. Like, I ain't dealing with this shit. And then afterwards, we see that Simone goes on IG Live, and she does a line to her haters, and she calls out white supremacy loud and clear. And I was like, you better do the damn thing, Simone. But then again, you doing that, you already got an extremist who came there trying to fuck with y'all. Like, now that you did this, you're now really fighting with some really big, hateful groups that could do some crazy things. Because remember, this is still the South, so Simone is literally doing what activists do. Like, they speak their mind and they tell the truth and they speak from the heart. But then again, this is going to cause some serious issues, with some of these, white extremist groups who want to make America great again. So we saw that go down. And then we see that, Mateo had walked up on Simone while she was doing it. And he was saying that, wow, you really are taking this political role very seriously. And she says that, yeah, my work didn't stop just with Angel. I want to be able to take this, further and really help, people like Angel who are being deprived, due to the fact that they're immigrants. And, and then, like, the thing is, Mateo's like, and also they talk about, Gravity Media going under and all that. And he's saying that, I don't know what to do. And Simone tells him, make the impossible possible and make a statement. And you can also make a statement if you're loud enough. So she kind of left him that gin and she walked off. And I was like, good advice. Like, Simone, even though Simone is 18, she is very wise beyond her years. I love me some Simone. So then, back at Karma, we see that Cotton is talking to Dior. Dior has this very, very fabulous coat on. Looked clean as hell. Looked really good. But the thing is, she's been dipping from the money she's supposed to be giving to Leon to buy this coat. But she's like, hey, it takes money to make money, honey. And then all of a sudden we see that Rashad comes up. And if anything, Cotton is surprised, like, what you doing here? Like, get up out of here, church boy. What you doing? And he actually introduced himself to Dior. They have a good rapport and everything. And all of a sudden this asshole comes up and is like, don't touch my bitch. And he's like, what you mean? Like, bruh, you act like she your property, dude. What you tripping on? He's like, I'm about to whoop your little ass and all this other shit. So they about to get into it. And then he says, like, yo, Cotton, I'm here to tell you that, look, I want to have my money back because your girls, they ain't worth it. They ain't worth it at all. And then Cassie over here, she's like, Cotton, are you running an operation, in my club? And then all of a sudden, Cotton is just speechless. I'm like, damn. This gonna be some shit. So then we see that Star is in the studio, and Davis is there, and Davis is, crying or whatever. Well, he wasn't crying at the moment, but she's there with the baby. Alex shows up because she wanted to use the studio. And pretty much, Star's like, look, I want to get back with Take 3 because, like, look, with everything happening, we really need to be together. And she's saying that, look, Star, I understand where you're coming from, but, you're just totally disregarding the fact that me and Simone, our careers are starting to thrive now, so we just can't turn that off just because you feel some kind of way. And she's like, you don't understand. Due to the fact of me going in prison and me losing my voice, I'm at square one. You don't know what that feels like. And I was like, Star, you need to have a slice of humble pie, bitch, because she does know what it's like. Because if she didn't know what it was like, she would have stayed with her rich family and would have never fucked with you. So she does know what it's like to start from square one. She walked away from a lavish lifestyle to go live in Atlanta with you and Simone and Carlotta's house, so y'all can chase y'all dreams. So it's like Alex, Noah, and Star are all at square one. rebuilding themselves and rebuilding their lives. You know, Alex is trying to do that with her relationship with Derek, and due to the fact that now her father is trying to profit off of her, but never supported her beyond a shadow of a doubt. But then she kind of lets Star know that, look, you know, we had a great time with Take 3, but we're different people now, which is why we broke up. You know, this is why, you know, we just grew apart, and now we're in different spaces. And then, you know, she's begging Alex, please, just do this. And she pretty much tells her, like, you know what, just let me know when you're done with the studio. She walks out, and then we see that Star has this dream of a song called Dear Davis, where she has a flashback of her life, all of the pain and torment she went through, her dealing with Simone, everything that she went through up to that point, they replayed moment by moment. And then afterwards, we see that the baby is crying his head off, and Star is emotional because she's pretty much at a loss at this point. She doesn't know what to do. She got a baby to support, and right now things just ain't popping for her at this moment. And it's really made her hit rock bottom, because, you know, the whole thing about it is that if Gravity Media goes down, they lose everything. And she says, I can end up in Pittsburgh after this. You know, I'm not trying to go back. But then, you know, so we had that moment where Star really has a very deep emotional moment with herself. Then we get the ASA Easter brunch. We see that Giselle, where her hoish ass comes through, and, you know, Giselle is played by Nicole Ari Parker, and it's cool how they got them going back and forth between Empire and Star. I think it's very genius. So she's there, and they're trying to get her to become a buyer, and, you know, she's there with Carlotta and Mateo. And pretty much Giselle's like, so why should I invest in this? I mean, after all, Gravity Media has been known for a bunch of drama and a whole bunch of missteps and all of that. And Carlotta's like, well, so is Empire. She was like, yeah, but Empire can keep the lights on. You know, and then all of a sudden, you know, at one point it was Midtown Records and now Gravity. Like, y'all haven't been able to hold nothing solid for a long period of time. Why should I invest in this? And then all of a sudden, we see that, you know, Mateo's like, can I go get you a drink? And she's like, oh, yes, absolutely. And I'm like, I'm already seeing it, like, Mateo about to give her some dick. Because I was actually watching this episode with my mother, and because she had actually watched the episode, you know, due to certain things I have going on, I'm not able to review it on the day of. I usually review it the next day. So the next day I'm rewinding it, going back and forth or whatever, and all of a sudden when I saw him go after Giselle, I'm like, he about to give her some dick. And my mother's like, how you know that? I'm like, it's obvious. He has used every play that he has, and right now he desperate. And when you get desperate and you only got the thing between your legs, you will use it if it means it's going to take you to the other side. So that's exactly what Mateo's doing. He going to sling his dick to get her to buy Gravity Media. So then we also see that Take 3 shows up, and then on top of it, he was flirting his ass off with her the whole time. And you know Giselle's a slut, so you know Giselle was just eating it up. So then we see that Cotton and Cassie confront each other at the event, and she was saying that, I can't believe this, Cotton. You was actually running girls out of my club. What's going on with that? She's saying that, look, I'm actually trying to help these girls. It's a difficult situation. I'll definitely talk about it with you later, but don't tell my mom. And then Carlotta's like, don't tell your mom what? Look, Carlotta been mean as shit this whole fucking episode, y'all. She is just really hyped up. I mean, and I think a lot of it is due to the trauma that Calvin has put on her. And then all of a sudden, Cotton actually, so when she approached Cotton, like, tell your mother what? Cassie chose to lie and say, like, well, tell her that Rashad is going to be performing. Your cousin is so talented. And then Carlotta's like, it ain't going to happen. It's not about him. It's about our artist. And I'm like, oh, Carlotta is really fucking mad, but it's all because when she sees Rashad, she sees Calvin. Yeah. Interesting, huh? So then we see that Alex actually knows Giselle, so they have like a little girl moment. Then Star comes up and she was saying that, because Alex was saying like, look, you should really invest in us. I mean, you have a lot of artists, great artists here. And she was like, well, the thing is, with your talent and everything and all that you're doing, do you think that Gravity Media is going to be a great place for you? And then Star was like, well, it'd be one if you actually invest your money in it. And she was saying that, well, why would I want to invest in a company like this? I mean, because let's be real, Gravity Media pretty much represents drama, scandal, and you talking to Star. And she was like, what you trying to say? She was like, well, you had several run-ins going to jail, and then you completely gave us a chocolate surprise when you got knocked up by Noah. Like, girl, you got a whole bunch going on, and it's just like the drama is outshining the music. And she was like, well, it's no different than Empire. But she's saying, but the thing is, our music's better. You know what I'm saying? And then like she goes in on Star, was like, well, boo boo, I haven't heard nothing since Y'all Know Me. Like, what's going on with you? I mean, Alice got something going on. What you doing? She's like, well, I'm working on an album right now. She's like, love to hear it. And then all of a sudden, we see that Carlotta is hosting the bruncheon. She's going into hosting, and then that damn Cassie storms the stage because, first of all, you having this situation at her club, but you telling her that Rashad can't sing, all because you on some personal shit. And Cassie knows it, so Cassie is like, I'm not letting Carlotta, feel her oats on this. I'm gonna challenge her ass. So she gets up there and says that, look, we're gonna have a good old sing off and we're gonna take it back to church. She pretty much the choir comes in and they sing a song that I grew up singing in church, Jesus is real. Like, Jesus is real, I know the Lord is real to me. So all of a sudden it's kind of like this gospel sing off, and it starts off with Rashad, and immediately Carlotta chimes in and starts singing with him to shut him down. And I'm like, Carlotta, really? You don't stand in the way of somebody's dream, honey. Like, this guy wants to sing, but I think she also wants to protect him. But the way you coming off, you cock blocking, or you're more like trying to sabotage him because you don't want him to succeed. But here he is, he's singing, and then he passes, and then Carlotta sings, to shut him down, and then we see that he gives the microphone to Noah, and you already know Noah can sing his ass off, so Noah was singing down, and then Rashad gets the mic again and starts and still singing, and then he passes it to Star. Now, he didn't know that Star's voice is not up to shape. But Star pretty much says that, well, normally I sing because that's what I do. And everybody's just kind of like waiting for Star to sing. And Star was about to actually tell what happened to her. But Alice took the mic. She says, well, the thing is, we actually have a surprise. Take 3 is getting back together. We're still going to focus on our solo projects, but Take 3 is going to be the main focus. And we see that Giselle was impressed with that. And all of a sudden afterwards, someone was like, well, how come y'all ain't asked me how I feel? And then Star was like, how do you feel, Simone? She's like, I'm down for it. I was like, Simone's a trip. Then we get a scene between Alex and Derek, because Derek shows up to the event. And she was saying that, I just don't want to end up, like my father and all of this stuff, and with all this going on. And Derek tells her, like, look, you are nothing like your father. You're your own person. And she's saying that, look, this is about you and about our love, and don't let your dad ruin this for you. And she decides, let's get married right now. So they run off to go to the Justice of the Peace to get married. So then we see, as I claim, that Mateo and Giselle was rolling around the bed, getting it in. He eating the box and all that shit. So he's literally laying it down to try to get her to invest in Gravity Media. And then she was like, you had me at hello. I'm like, I know he did with your hot pocket ass. Anyway, he starts negotiating a deal with her as to, what he wants her to do. That, you'll definitely have control over Gravity Media, but, as far as Gravity Records, that's Carlotta's lane. But this bitch Giselle is like, I want creative control of everything, even the music. And Mateo stood up for Carlotta. He was like, nah, that's Carlotta's lane, and Carlotta has been through me through all my bullshit. I'm not gonna make her pay for my mistakes, so no, I'm not taking that from her. And Giselle was like, well, I guess it ain't gonna work out, huh? Because you a good lay, bad negotiator, and a deal breaker. I'm like, oh, you slutty ass. See, Giselle, since she became, COO of Empire, she been really smelling her own ass. And this scene showed it. Like, she's like, bitch, I want creative control of everything. So that would completely take Carlotta off of everything. But Gravity Media would not be the success that it is without Carlotta. And Mateo knows that. So it was good seeing that Mateo actually... it was good to see that Mateo stood up for Carlotta. But then again, it's kind of like, damn, we had a shot and you screwed her and she still didn't buy in. So then we see that Carlotta has a meeting with Cassie and Rashad, and she is pissed. She is just mad as hell because I think every time she sees Rashad, she sees her daddy. I wonder why. But she's mad as hell, and she was like, Cassie, I know you put him up to this. And Rashad was like, she didn't put me up to this. This is my idea. She's like, you were out of line out there. Like you were out of line and out of order for what you did. And he was like, look, I just wanted to take my chance because, I felt like this was God's plan for me. And I just took a shot. And she's saying that, look, you need to go back home. She keeps telling him to go back home because every time she sees him, she sees Calvin. So she keeps telling Rashad, you need to go back home. The industry is not all great and heavenly. It's also evil and it's also evil and dark as well. And you need to stay away from the dark forces. Kind of looking at Cassie. Cassie's like, girl, don't be shaking your damn wig in my face. And I was just like, Carlotta is doing way too much. Instead of her just voicing how the way she really fucking feels, she's just going off. And she just was nasty to Rashad and Cassie this whole damn episode. I'm like, Carlotta, your ass need to get it together. Like, Calvin's dead. But obviously, her seeing Rashad is triggering something. And I think it's because of a deeper connection. So, we got that going on. And then on top of it, Carlotta finally admits to Cassie, well, because Cassie says that, look, he's going to be a star, so I'll manage him. And I can do this. I got him. He's going to be good. He got family looking out for him. And she's saying, well, I can't help you because we just lost our buyer. And she's like, really? She's like, yeah, like you care. Get away from me. I'm like, bitch. Like, Carlotta was just nasty as hell. And, I understand where it's coming from. But, bitch, wrong is wrong. And you was dead wrong in this shit. So, we see that Noah decides to get his mother and his father together. And he says, because immediately once they get in, they ready going back at it again. He's like, I don't want her here. She's like, I don't care about your punk ass brother. He's like, yo, stop. And he gets them to sit down, and he's saying that, look, I can't be a better father to Davis until I saw the scars from the two of you being my parents. I'm like, you better fucking sell it, Noah. You better sell it, because they're the roots as to why you got all these scars and why you have this life as an addict. And all of a sudden, he's saying that, look, we need to heal this as a family if we're going to be strong for Davis. So, and it was a very powerful scene where they were finally dealing with their shit, owning their stuff, and saying that Davis is a reason for us to come together. We're now grandparents now. We can no longer continue to have this toxic energy passed down to him. So we need to fix it. And next thing you know, they all three of them hugged. And I was like, that was a powerful scene. You know, that look, we need to come together. We're family. So that was very important. I loved it. Then we see that Alex and Derek go to the Justice of the Peace. And before they're about to walk down the aisle, Alice was like, I can't do this. I can't do this without my girls. Meaning Star and Simone and Carlotta. So then we see back at Karma, that motherfucking evil bastard Leon is literally drowning Dior in a mop bucket because she shorted him out of money. So he's literally dunking her head, you know, literally drowning her in this mop bucket. And Cotton walks up and she's like, what the hell? And he's like, you better mind your damn business, Cotton. She's like, oh my God, do you always have to be such a fucking monster? And then he pulls a gun out on Cotton and was like, nah, but I'm gonna show you who the monster is. Yeah. You know, yeah, she's like, yeah, you need to know your place, Cotton, because, yeah, don't you got that little boy, Jalen? Yeah, it'd be real messed up if something were to happen to him, all on account of his mom, you know, not knowing her place and shit. And all of a sudden, we see that Cotton got a gun on her, too. And she's slowly going back for that shit. And then all of a sudden, we see that Dior kind of is looking at Cotton. Dior pushes damn Leon and knocks the gun out of his hand and shit. And Cotton lets Leon have it. She shoots his ass down. And she says, don't you ever threaten my son. Pop, 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 pop. I'm like, oh shit. There you go, Cotton. That's what's up. But then again, this can cause even more issues for her because obviously Leon got a lot of pull in the streets. So she may have to deal with some more people coming after her. But I was so here for her killing Leon because Leon was just an evil bastard. And he definitely was evil towards trans girls because he was literally treating them like trash. So I was glad that Cotton, you know, saved the day and shot his ass up. So then we see that Star has a moment with Noah. She let Noah see the baby. And then within this process, she decides to tell Noah that she's decided to give the baby up for adoption and that we're both toxic. We both come from bad families. You know, there's a lot of hurt and pain in your family, and I have a lot of hurt and pain in me, and all we're going to do is pass it down to Davis, and I want Davis to have a better life. And, of course, Noah is fighting this because he just had this good moment with his family, and they're talking about us working on ourselves so we can be better for Davis. And now this damn bitch done decided I'm going to get a baby up for adoption and doesn't give a damn how Noah feels. Now, look, Noah did what he did, and I'm not taking away from that, but that's still Noah's child, too. And we see that there's dysfunction amongst the two of them. And Stark is to the point where she pulls a knife out on him, saying, like, you know me. You know I would go there. You really want to try me right now? Because he kind of gets it like, look, I ain't playing with you, Star. You're not going to take my son from me. And she's like, you know how I get down. You think you can stop a knife? And she pretty much pulls the knife up and knocks him over and grabs the baby and leaves. And next thing you know, we see that Star goes to Gravity Media to meet up with Simone, Alice, and Carlotta. Alice lets them know that she wants them to be a part of the wedding, that they're her family. You're the only family I actually have. And she asks Carlotta to walk her down the aisle. And we see that Star comes in and she's emotional because she's made a decision to give up her baby. And Alice is like, girl, what's going on? Are those tears of joy? And she's like, yeah, there is. She's like, they don't look like it. What's really going on? So they picking something ain't right with her. But, you know, of course, Star is not trying to share that she's decided to give up her child. And then all of a sudden we see that Angel shows up, and Simone goes to meet up with him, and we see that Angel now feels differently about her being an activist now that she done did that live where she was going in about, you know, racism and white supremacy and all of that. She was saying that he pretty much told her that, look, there's one thing of being an artist, and then there's another thing of stroking the flames. Like, you really have let your position of Gravity Media gone to your head, and I think you're just an activist of Gravity Media. And she's like, what are you talking about? That's so not true. I care about you, and I care about other immigrants that can have a fair chance in this country as well. That's why I did what I did. And he's like, no, you. And then he pretty much saying that because you let that guy piss you off, you went on a live and pretty much went after white supremacy, and now we about to get more enemies than we can imagine. So he goes to go off to get into his car and everything, and the next thing you know, the damn car exploded, and we don't know whether he got in a car or not, or whether he was near it, but immediately Simone screams, "Angel!" Like, whoa. I hope Angel didn't die, because I really do like Angel, even though Angel tripping right now. But I understand where he's coming from with that. That, look, we got people in America that hate the fact that us immigrants are here, and now that you've done that, you're putting everybody at risk, including yourself. So now she realizes what Angel was talking about. So we're gonna see probably next week whether Angel lived or died, but I hoped he lived. But that's what I have, y'all. If I missed anything, put it down in the comments. I'd love to talk to you about it. But subscribe to my channel. Click that bell so you get notifications every time I drop a video. Also follow me on all of my social platforms. I have them listed in the description box. Also like this video, comment on this video, and share this video. And I'll be back with the next episode of Star. So until next time, everybody, take care.